Yeah, it's my pleasure to be here. I'm so glad to see these faces. 17 already, fantastic. My name is Dr. Felicia O. I'm a staff at the National Open University of Nigeria. I lecture in the Department of Languages, specifically English. Well, I love nature. I'm a child of God. I love teaching. I love interacting with people, and I love impacting. I believe we're going to have a good time together, doing this course together. Now, this is GST101, and GST101 is, the title of GST101 is The Use of English and Communication Skills 1. There's another dimension to it, which I'm sure you will do later. That's GST102, okay? But that looks at reading and writing. But GST101 is, we focus on listening and reading. Sorry, the other one will be looking at writing and reading. In the next 8 weeks, we're going to be working together. And I want to trust that it's going to be a good time for all of us. All right. I wish I just want everybody to mute, please. I'm having a challenge doing it here. Okay. Fantastic. I think I have some quiet now. Abubakar Ahmed, oh, Yemi, you're raising your hand. Is there a mistake or something? If it's a mistake, then please, thank you, gracias. All right. In the next 8 weeks, just like I was saying, I'll be working with you. Dr. Agbara Clara will also join at a point, and I trust you're going to give out the cooperation you give to me too. I trust Open University of Nigeria students who are responsible, and so I know you are going to behave. I'm going to be laying some ground rules. I don't know how many of us who have watched the video. Have you watched the netiquette video? If you have, instructional video, yeah, thank you. There's a video on netiquette, but I'm just going to still say a few things on that as well. Because this is an online class, and you know, we're going to keep getting more and more. We're many really in the GST101 class, and you want to make the best use of the opportunity. So I do hope this forum is going to be fruitful. Now, what is netiquette? Netiquette, now because we are online, we need to, you know, just discuss a few principles, you know, that will help us as we navigate on this platform, because if we're not guided, chances are that we will be wasting our time. There's a lot of noise and all that, okay? So number one, we should exhibit a high sense of courtesy with one another. I'm not expecting this to be a platform where we abuse one another. I don't want to even think about that. I don't want to look at that option at all. And then, you know, no man is an island, really. None of us has all of the knowledge. There's a lot to learn from your colleagues, from the facilitator, a lot to gain. So when you come in, you come with that mind that you have a lot to learn, all right? And then please TMA issues of TMA POP. I can't find my first semester POP TMA. Let's not raise them here, all right? There are appropriate quarters for that. in the university. Let me peep before I say this. I'm looking at well-dressed people here, and I think that's okay. I've had experiences where you go online and you meet students coming in their nightgown and all that. That's a bit embarrassing, you know. The virtual platform is like it's like you are facing the world. So you can imagine facing the world in your nightgown. So let's try to dress well. Just come to class. Come to class as if you are in class. This is class. I don't know what else you want to call this, but this is class. All right. We're going to be learning. We're going to be discussing, and when you dress well, you kind of encourage your colleagues. When you dress wrongly, you embarrass them, and then you distract them. So, all right. So because the world is watching, let's be careful. Now I will just do this for me. I don't want us to unmute so that there's no noise. I want to know us. Which department do you belong to? I'm from the Department of Language. Just put it in the chat box for me. I want to know your department. I want to kind of have an idea of, I know it's a mixed bag, all right? But let me have an idea. Just type, tell me your department. Are you in languages? Are you in entrepreneur, political science, social, which other, mass communication? Just click, let me see. Let's talk, let's chat. Just tell me where you belong. Do it in the chat. Oh, 4 new messages. I'm bright. Okay, no, okay. Abu Bakar is biz admin. All right. Jude is entrepreneurship. Kindness is early childhood education. Yeah. Who else? Don't be shy. Abu Bakar Usman, I think, is public health. Powerful. Nwoluchime is information technology. Nifemi is management science. Adejoka is business. Mwabudo, technology. Adigun, Joshua, public administration. Well, information technology. Chinweoku, computer science. You can see the kind of you see, we're from different departments, and that's beautiful. Now, GST101 is a 2-credit unit course. And in GST101, you'll be exposed to listening and reading. So what is the aim of GST101? Now, the overall aim is to help you understand how to communicate effectively in English. And this is good for you. I don't know. I watched a video recently. Somebody was saying how to the things women like to hear. A woman went to her husband and said, "Darling, it's like I'm adding weight." He said, "Of course you're adding weight," and she got angry. We don't want to hear that. Thank you. Okay. If you don't know how to communicate, you can your wife can wake up one and just hit your head, and you'll be wondering what went wrong. I mean, you said, "Am I looking fat?" And she is looking fat. So why not say it? So you don't say it the way it is all the time. So I guess after you've gone through this class, you should be able to communicate more effectively using English. Now, the art of communication involves the exchange of information, okay? And every student needs to acquire skills in that regard. So important. You could attract the wrath of your lecturer, of your colleagues, your boss, and family members if you don't use the right communication skill. There are so many ways to skin a cat. Somebody will say there are so many ways to enter a house. So what are the objectives of GST101? It's expected that at the end of this, class, we should be able to use listening-enabled skills more appropriately. We should be able to listen and comprehend lectures and talks. We should know how to take down notes while listening to a lecture. We should be able to retrieve general and specific information through listening comprehension. We should be able to listen for main ideas. We should be able to, listen, interpret, and then evaluate a speaker's viewpoint. And then we should be able to, part of what we will also do, Dr. Clara Agbara will be taking you on that, but then we can talk about it now. You should be able to apply effective reading techniques to reading diverse texts. You should be able to skim and scan, read and comprehend at different levels, speed levels, discuss the ways in which you can read for vocabulary development. I'll be taking part of this too. You should be able to acquire and utilize vocabulary, explain how to comprehend diverse text materials, describe how to read and comprehend text, explain how to read and comprehend scientific text, interpret what is read accurately, and then evaluate an author's viewpoint. And I will say something about this. I'm going to put on an activity for us very soon. But then let me say something. If you're a student, you begin to pass or fail based on how well you can listen. So important. And then we'll look at the nature of listening soon. You should be able, you must develop the skill. There are skills for reading. Some of us now, if I give us a test on reading now, you will discover that you are a very slow reader. And if you are a slow reader in a university environment, it's already a signal for a challenge for you. And you've got to do something about it. I'm sure by the time we are through with this class, with this course and the facilitation, you would have improved on your reading skills. Now, the online facilitation is an 8-week program starting today, and will continue for the next 8 weeks. And it is so important that you keep coming. Don't depend just on the videos. All right? I want you to keep coming. Now I'm going to share my screen with you. And then we'll talk. Please hold on. Let me share my screen. Okay, sorry. Let me bring it. Can you see my screen? Just unmute, say yes, and then go back. Can you see my screen? Okay. Okay. Just wave. Can anybody see my screen? I will adjust it again. Just do like this. Okay, fantastic. Oh, Miriam, I can see you, and kindness and the others. Fantastic. Okay, so I go back. Just look at this screen. Look at it for a while. Just chat, write in the chat box. Were you able to see the screen? Write that for me, yes or no. Just put yes or no, first of all. Then if it's no, I will have to take it all over again. Yes, okay, fantastic, okay. I have very fantastic students here. Okay, so good. Now, okay, thank you. I think a good number could see it. So let's go. If I unmute you guys, I don't know what will happen. So let me keep you the way you are. I'm having a good class without. I'm almost tempted to say let me unmute, but I'm not too sure. Help me, God. Oh wow. So now you're going to do something for me. Just type in the chat box. What do you see of this of the image? Let me share again. Then tell me what you can make of this. Then I'll tell you if you're correct or not. Okay, let me take this down. Okay, just look at the image again. Okay. Just type, what can you, this is, what do you call this? There is it's a conversation situation. Interaction is going on here. Okay, so tell me, what can you see? Somebody said, I see two ladies and a man. No, tell me what you can see based on the three participants in an interactive environment. Someone who said distraction. Somebody else said distraction. Fantastic. Who else can say? Two people said distraction. I'll share the screen again. Thank you. I love the response, but I want to share the screen. I want to be a bit more specific. Don't be in a hurry. Just stay with me in this class. I'm going somewhere actually. What do you make of this lady here? She's also discussing. What do you make of her as a listener? This person as a listener. What can you make of her as a listener? Just chat, just write for me. Somebody said communication and distraction. Well, somebody said something about the lady. I think a class was going on and the lady was distracted with her phone call. Okay, so let me see, 3 more messages. 2 were interrupted by a call. I don't know what that means. Misconduct. That must be a teacher. Adai Moses, are you a teacher? Misconduct. That's our language, typical of us. Lack of concentration, fantastic. Jeffrey, you want to say something? Your hand is raised. The speaker distracted the 2 other persons. Okay. A lady instructing the other 2 but was interrupted by a phone call and it got the other 2 distracted. I've never looked at that image like that. That's a fantastic one. Jude. Who is Jude? Wow. That's a good idea. I've not looked at that image like that, and I've been looking at the image for some time now. Okay, somebody else wants to say something about that lady in the middle. Gracias. I'm grateful for all of the things I'm seeing. Interruption. Okay, fantastic. I will come back to that image. Hold on to the image. I'm going to come back to it. I want to now ask a question. What is the difference between what is the difference between hearing and listening? Please, let's chat on this. What is the difference between hearing and listening? Is there any difference? Peculiar, please work on your audio. Please, can you hear me? Just do this if you can hear me. Can you hear me? Thank you, Miriam. Thank you. Chukwuemeka Ugochukwu, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Now, let's take the question. What's the difference between hearing and listening? Put it in the, give me your response. Have you ever thought of it? The difference between hearing and listening. You know, sometimes people say her words fell on deaf ears. Wow. Somebody said hearing is passive while listening is intensive. Okay. Listening means to pay attention. Hearing is all about attention. Okay. If you say so, let's go on. Somebody else is saying, I want to get this. It's like this person said something I want to pick. Did I miss it? Hearing is all about attention, effective. Listening, you hear, I'm not saying this properly. In listening, your heart is involved and you can make effective suggestions. Your heart is involved. Are you sure? Hearing is the act of listening and listening is a process. Wow. Thank you so much. See, let's begin to agree first of all. Hearing happens, but listening requires concentration. Your brain processes, yes. Thank you. Let's look at it from this perspective. Your answers are correct. In fact, you all seem to have an idea. You see, when we hear, both have a similarity. There's a starting point for the two. Some level of sound, you know, you get some sound waves for both. If you don't get sound wave, there's an issue. We're still coming to that one. So you must get, there must be sound though. So sound comes, all right, for both, for hearing and then for listening. You have sound. There are signals that you get. But in hearing, it's passive. You are not processing anything. You are not processing the information. And so because you are not processing, for example, that lady, I'll take this. I'll go back to this. You see, this person, if these two people are speaking now, all right, if any of these two speak, the sound wave will still go to her. It will go back to her. If this person says, oh no, the sound wave will get to her. If this person says, could you sit down, the sound wave will go to her. But listening requires active processing. And when you listen, you are participating, you are actively participating. So I want you to begin to link that up to your role as a student. You could go to class, the sound waves are there, but in your mind, you are wondering, how am I going to get home after work? How do I handle this assignment? Oh my God. I can't wait for this class to be ended. Then you are just listening, you are just hearing, you are not listening. But when you listen, you process sound in order to interpret it. You want to convert sound to meaning in your mind. Do you see the difference? So when you go to your computer science class, for example, you go online for computer science and your lecturer is teaching. You are processing the sounds in order to make sense of it, to make meaning in your mind. Until you do that, it's not listening. But don't forget, the two, you receive the sound via your ears. Now, we listen for different reasons. Could you just type this for me? Why do you think you listen? Could you just say it? Why will you listen? What do you listen for? Could you just give me a response? I would like to hear you. Just put it in a chat box. What do you listen to? Why do you listen? Are there reasons for listening? Not just as a student, as a member of society, to acquire information, whether it's broad, thank you. That's not a bad one either. Okay, I'm waiting for more news. That's a good one, but sometimes you don't want to listen to news. Okay, we listen to get information, get knowledge. Okay. We listen to for mass media information to gain meaning. Sometimes you listen, well, somebody said we listen for instruction, yeah. Somebody said to learn, unlearn, and then adapt. Fantastic, not a bad one at all. Okay, sometimes we listen sometimes, sometimes for casual relationship interaction purpose. We call it gist. We sometimes just listen, for casual. So it's not all the time we listen for very heavy reasons and all that. In English, we call that using language to establish phatic relationship. Phatic relationship. For example, if I wake up, if I see you at the bus stop and I say, good morning. I'm not expecting you to say, oh, it's not a good morning. Oh my word. No, not really. You don't, I'm not expecting you to say it's not a good morning. Oh, it's been so horrible. You are not likely to say that. For social interaction, we sometimes communicate just to keep the society moving. So that's for phatic relationships. So sometimes you gist with your friend, how are you and all that. Not really because you're expecting information, you just want to interact. And of course, for these other reasons that we have mentioned. So who is a listener? Anybody? That's the next question. Who is a listener? We are all listeners. We are all listeners. Anybody who is capable of listening to anything or possibly participating in interaction. And listening is part of our everyday life. Fantastic. So I want to share my screen with you. We are taking this activity now. We've been talking about listening. Have you seen it? Can the deaf hear? Fantastic. So please start chatting. Can the deaf hear? You are university students. So you think. Can the deaf hear? Somebody said no, somebody said yes. She to jam you said yes. Miss Zat said yes. She to jam you said through signal. Philip said no. Treasure said yes. Treasure said they have their means of communication. I'm not saying they don't have their means of communication. I'm just saying, can they hear? Some said yes through sign languages. Jude said yes, but can't understand. Jude, I don't understand what you mean by yes, but can't understand. If they can hear, why wouldn't they understand? Simeon said no. Lillian said no. Ariyo said they can't hear. Thank you for these very insightful responses. The deaf can actually hear. It's a bit, it's almost like an antithesis, almost contradictory, but they can. Number one, there are levels of deafness. Some are not total, okay? So for the ones that are not total, actually, with hearing aids, they can actually solve that problem. But then there are some that can't hear in terms of sound waves, the way we've been describing the process of hearing and listening. That is sound waves, you know, receiving sound waves and all that. And then processing that. Some people cannot do that. But sign language, just like some of you have brilliantly stated, can help the deaf to hear, as it were, and be able to function as a member of society. Now, as a student in the National Open University of Nigeria, when you listen, when you come for facilitation and so many other activities, you are listening for specific purposes. For example, for all of the online facilitation classes you're going to have, you are listening for specific purposes. That will include gathering of information. You want to acquire knowledge in a particular course. You want to get direction. You want to get instructions. And then the more important, which we don't pay attention to, you want to be able to critically evaluate the information you're getting. So when you pick your course material or you watch any of the videos you're going to see, it is expected as a student that you are coming to gather information, then you critically evaluate them. You don't, for example, that question I asked, can the deaf hear? Basically, the first reaction will be no, based on what we know of society and humans. But we also know that it is possible for the deaf to hear, also based on information that we hear. Now, there are resources that are available to students. Somebody mentioned news, and that is true, yes. And someone is going to say, for example, if you want to develop, you want to increase your vocabulary. And what is vocabulary? That is an aspect of GST101. But your vocabulary basically is your word stock. That is, if we what you know of English, for example, the words in English. I'm going to do something now. It's unfortunate, but that is it. I have just removed the student. Please don't share your screen with me. If you do, I will remove you from the platform because you'll be interrupting my class. Now, just like I was saying, as a student, there are resources that are available to you. They come in form of lectures. They could come in form of radio, in form of CD, television, video, the internet. All of those are resources. And just like I was trying to explain, for a student in National University of Nigeria, our medium of instruction, the language is English. So you want to expand your vocabulary. Your vocabulary is your word stock. Your word stock happens to be all of the words you have in a language. There are thousands of words in English. But at a particular time, you will have access to a number, depending on how large your vocabulary is. So I want to quickly say this right from the start. One of the ways to develop your vocabulary is through exposure to the media. And I'm not talking about media of you tune in, you dance from morning till night, continue tomorrow. That may not really help, but then it depends on your choice. For news media, and all that, those are channels through which you can develop your vocabulary. And then we talk about you immerse yourself in reading. You read literature of all diverse. You read. The more you read, what will happen to you is you will unconsciously expand your vocabulary. And video is part of it. Where I don't know if your choice is what's it called, the Roko and local, the Yoruba one. I can't remember what it's called, Akpata and all that, and you may not be doing yourself much good right now. Need to immerse yourself in English. Get yourself into the domain where the language is used, either orally or in literary form. When you do that, your vocabulary will begin to expand. And when your vocabulary expands, what usually happens is your listening will be improved. For example, if I use a technical word now, and you don't have access to that word in your vocabulary, you don't know the meaning of it, your comprehension will become affected. And that is why you need to keep growing your vocabulary, expanding it. So different resources through which you can grow your vocabulary. So here are the enabling skills that you need. Listening enabling skills. And what does that mean? The resources, the skills that will help your listening to be effective. Functioning ears. From what that we have been saying, we do agree. Concentration. Ability to think along with the speaker, which means your mind must be focused. Ability to anticipate what the speaker is about to say. Ability to think along and then to be able to know what the speaker is about to say. These are very important things. Now let's go back. Let's take another activity. What do we understand by listening comprehension? Let me write it. What is listening Don't mind me, there'll still be time when we'll be interacting. It's just I want to lay these ground rules. I want to be sure you are getting all of this, first of all. This is more of a foundational thing. I'm still going to be discussing with us, all right? So what is listening comprehension? From your, just write whatever you think that may mean. What do you think it means, Jude? You are giving me back the question. Adigu Joshua, fantastic. I love that. Yeah, somebody else wants to say something. It's like we're not quick to respond this time. Listening comprehension. Adigu Joshua said ability to assimilate what is. Now let me share. Okay. Ability for a listener to assimilate what is said. Sorry. Did we see it? Just do this if you did. Did you see it? Great. Thank you. I can see our hands. Thanks. First, listening comprehension are two levels. Two levels. Actually, to comprehend means to understand. That's what it means. So, and to listen in order to understand, you first have to understand the language. You must understand what is spoken first at the level of the language and at the level of meaning. Look at this. Does it make sense? What's the problem with these two expressions I just said for listening comprehension? Rebecca said, I don't understand the language. Now, the first one, colorless ideas swing furiously. Doesn't make sense. Ideas don't swing. Number one, ideas are not colorless. And they don't swing furiously. So there's no meaning there in terms of meaning. Now, yada, ya, when you are in a class of English and you say yada, ya, if I come in and I say yada, ya, yada, ya, I'm sure that some of you would have logged out. Save me, God. Some of you would have logged out by now. So you get what I mean? So you see the meaning. When we speak, to be able to comprehend what is spoken, there are two levels for the listener, the level of language, and then the level of meaning. Okay. Okay, so why is comprehension related to meaning? Why is listening and comprehension, why are they interconnected? When you come for a lecture, your intention is not just to listen to words. You want to get something out of it. That is why comprehension is related to listening. Sorry. Listening and comprehension are important. They are related. So when I come to a lecture, if I go for a seminar, go attend a presentation or something, my intention is not just to go to get all the words spoken there. I want to understand what is spoken. I want to get the general information. And sometimes I want to get specific information. So that is why if you don't get these things I'm talking about, it's like you wasted your time. So in order to understand, you listen attentively, you follow consciously, you possess vocabulary like I have explained. You put your experience of the word to bear on the topic. Then you show interest in the topic. What do I mean by you put your experience? Let me send this to a chatbot and I'll tell you what I mean. What do you think this means? Just tell me, what do you think it means? Budo said he stole everything. Stole everything. He stole all the property. The thief robbed everything. Fantastic. Thank you. Now, do you know why he took away everything? Yeah. Now, this is the answers are correct. Now, one of the reasons why you can easily understand, connect the meaning. If you hear this statement, it's easy for you to connect. Why? The verb sweep. The verb, and it's unconscious for you. You just got the information. But the verb sweep will help you to arrive at that meaning, to process it. So when you listen, there are some meanings that will come to you readily because of your knowledge of the word, because of what you already know, and of course because of your word stock. Now, what are the factors that could affect comprehension? Please chat to me, tell me. What are the factors that could affect comprehension? Just write it there. Your understanding of it, not what I've said. Yeah? Lack of concentration, not listening attentively, noise, okay? not giving much attention, okay? Let's go, let's go. I have fantastic students here, and I'm almost done with the class. Not giving much attention, yes. Ability not to listen to the speaker. Ariel, thank you. Poor line of communication, okay? Thank you. Obasa, Mary, that tells me you started this class with us. Non-functioning ears, low vocabulary, not listening attentively. Great. It's been a good class. I'll just share my screen. And some of the things that you're going to see will agree with what you. Very important. Almost all of us agreed on this. Of the subject, don't forget, and that matters to your discipline as well. This is very, very important. Inability to think deep. Now, I'll leave you with this. I'm almost done with the class. 1 hour already. Wow. Now, every time you come to class, every time you attend lecture, if you go for presentations, and some of you would, not even some of you, eventually you're going to do seminars, you're going to do presentations. So get ready for Open University. We are the best. You will do all of these things. So now, let's say, for example, you decided to attend a seminar. Don't forget your speech, the speech you are listening to will be divided into divisions. There's the introduction. There's the main body of the speech. There are transitional clues, words that will be used. For example, as the listener, as the speaker goes, you will say finally, first, before, though, nevertheless, in conclusion, moreover, etc. Now, those are divisions. Sometimes a writer will also use words to signal change of ideas. So you have words like however, but, in contrary, or like. So you have in contrary, you have however, nevertheless, and all that. The speaker could also try to shift emphasis. All of these are divisions in speech. The speaker could get to a point where he decides to summarize all that he or she has been saying. The speaker could use concluding remarks. All of these things, the introduction, the main body of the speech, the shift in emphasis, summary, concluding remarks, and all of that. When you give attention to that, the transition of speech, it helps you to process your mind as a listener. Your mind will follow what is being said. And chances are that your understanding will be broader. You'll be able to catch what the speaker is saying. I hope you're getting what I'm saying. So each time you listen to people talk, even broadcasters, there are speech divisions in what they are saying. For every lecture, there are speech divisions: introduction, the main body, transitional clues that will come up, points of emphasis, shift in emphasis, summary, conclusion, and all that. When you follow all of these parts of a speech, a lecture, a message, video, and all that, meaning becomes clearer and faster. I'm going to unmute us now. So you can unmute yourself now. You can unmute. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Felicia, but I really came late to class.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Nice to have you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. The lecture was sweet.
It can only get better.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, ma'am.
This is Dr. Felicia O, and it's my pleasure. I long to see you next week. I look forward to seeing you then. Thank you so much for being part of this.
Thank you, madam. The lecture was interesting.
Thank you, ma'am.
Have a nice evening. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.